A decision from the United States Supreme Court is expected in late June in a case involving a former area cheerleader who was kicked off the Monomoy area junior varsity squad after using profanity on a social media post to talk about the school and the squad while not on school property. Here's Lisa Sugar with more on this story.
The entire nation is watching the Supreme Court's decision on whether or not the Monomoy Area School District can discipline a student for using profanity on social media while not on school grounds. Now, the case before the highest court is Monomoy Area School District versus BL. It began in 2017. BL is Brandy Levy, who is now a college freshman. She was 14 years old at the time. And Brandy, along with her father, Larry, and also their attorney, Sarah Rose from the American Civil Liberties Union, joins me now. Sarah, I'm going to start with you. The arguments were heard today before the United States Supreme Court. What's your reaction to that?
So I think the justices' question showed that they shared our concern about extending the reach of schools' authority over student speech to when they're off campus. And they were particularly concerned about political speech and religious speech and whether students could be punished for speech that other people are offended by, and those other people are the ones who create the disruption. So I think that the justices shared those concerns. I think they also, recognized that the speech at issue here really should not have been punished.
Were you surprised that it made it all the way to the highest court in the land?
In some ways, I'm surprised. There's been a number of these cases in the last 20 years where lower courts have been struggling with this question of, can schools punish kids for speech that they engage in off campus based on the standards that apply in school, which is if the speech would material and substantially disrupt the school. So courts have been struggling with that, but there's been more than a dozen plaintiffs or defendants who've asked the court to hear their cases, and the court has not heard any of those cases up until this point. So it is surprising that they chose to take this case, given that they haven't taken these cases in the past.
Brandy, were you surprised when all of this happened did you ever think you would end up before the United States Supreme Court?
No, I'm really surprised that it went this far. I thought I was going to be put back on the team and that was going to be the end of it, honestly.
Mr. Levy, when this all happened, were you angry at your daughter, or right away did you say, no, this is a violation, we're going to get an attorney involved? What was your reaction to all of this?
When I first seen the snap, she called me crying from school and told me she was suspended for a year off the team because of a Snapchat. I wasn't aware of the snap, and at that point, I didn't know the content of it or anything until she came home. And when she showed me the snap and told me, when she did it and where she did it, I was more upset that the school, they overreached. They stepped out of their boundaries into my home for something that is my parental responsibility. But I was more concerned that obviously Brandy was on an emotional roller coaster. When she posted the snap, it didn't just say cheer. It pretty much said everything in life, So obviously there were some situations going on mentally. And I was, aggravated that the school didn't look at that side of it, or call her in and say, Brandy, we saw your post that you put on Snapchat. Obviously you have some things going on. What's wrong? I try my best as a coach to do what I can. So talk to me, is there problems at home? What's bothering? Do you want to see, the counselor in school to talk through this? Because obviously there was some sort of underlying emotional situation. And, I was just aggravated that the school district who, they reach out, they say they want to protect students, they want to help students. Here was a situation where Brandy needed help. She vented her expression that showed she was maybe in a depressive situation or having an emotional moment, and they didn't even attempt to talk to her. Instead, they just compounded that emotional problem by taking away the one thing that she had as her go-to to get away from it all.
Brandy, are you getting a lot of support from your fellow classmates, friends, and everybody in this? Like, are they supporting you in the fact that you stood up for your rights?
Yeah, they are.
Do you regret any of this? Like, are you sorry you're going through all of this? Because this is a lot for anyone to go through, especially someone who was 14 years old at the time.
I mean, it is a lot to go through. It's been really stressful, but I don't regret doing it because now I'm going to But I could change history.
That's pretty amazing. Are you going to be able to sleep, Larry and Brandy, until this verdict comes in, until the decision is rendered?
I'm sure it's always going to be an inkling in the mind, until you find out the outcome, because it's been a long, you figure 4-year battle, and it's every day you're constantly thinking, what if it went that way? What if it goes this way? What if this happens? What if that happens? And until you actually get a ruling in this, there's just a lot of things tumbling through the mind on how this is going to go, or the potential outcome of what could happen.
Today's news feature is brought to you by Frankie's Pizzeria and Restaurant on Wyoming Street in Hazleton. Stop by Friday and Saturday nights for all-you-can-eat crab legs starting at 5 p.m. Also, check out Frankie's new hours and their specials on their Facebook page.
Thank you, Lisa. We've reached out to the Monoy Area School District for comment and have not heard back as of yet.